Welcome back. The Democratic primary is officially over here in South Carolina, and Hillary Clinton has emerged as the winner, beating Bernie Sanders by nearly 50% of the vote. This morning, we are in studio with Brady Quirk-Garvan, the chairman of the Charleston County Democratic Party. Thank you so much for coming again.
Absolutely. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
You're my new co-host.
That's right.
So, Brady, let's just get right into it. Hillary, she won by a landslide last night.
Yeah, I think many people suspected that Hillary Clinton would win South Carolina, but the margin that she won by is just enormous. I mean, almost 50 points is about as decisive as a victory as I've ever seen. And so I think, we can't underestimate how important that was for the Clinton campaign moving forward.
And she won because South Carolina is indicative of a lot of southern states and how they're going to vote Democratic for Hillary. She won majority of the African American votes, which is huge.
That's right. I mean, she not only won, minority votes, whether it's Latinos or African Americans, but won them by large margins. Mm-hmm. And so I think as we move away from states like Iowa and New Hampshire that are pretty, white states and don't have a lot of minority voters, and we look at states that are just more diverse, not just southern states, but western states and places like that, she's going to do really well. I think she proved last night that her message resonates with voters like that, and so I think she's going to do quite well as we look forward.
Now, we all know that South Carolina votes mainly Republican, but I have to ask, voter turnout last night was a little disappointing for the Democratic Party here in Charleston.
Sure.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think so. Voter turnout was a little lower than it was in 2008, but 2008 was a historic year. We had Hillary Clinton trying to be the first woman president, Barack Obama trying to be the first African American president. For Democratic voters, that was probably a high peak of voter turnout. So we felt like the voter turnout was really well. And an interesting fact, if you look at the just hard vote numbers, 30,000 more South Carolinians voted for Hillary Clinton than Donald Trump. So, she got more votes than Donald Trump in South Carolina. I recognize it's a primary, so that's not indicative of what may happen in the general. But for us, that's really exciting. It means that, people are rejecting the sort of hate speech coming from Republicans and are really interested in common sense solutions from Democrats.
And now, going forward, Super Tuesday is 2 days away.
That's right.
Texas is one of the biggest states for Super Tuesday, if not the biggest state.
I think it is, yeah.
So what happened here in South Carolina, does that transcend to a state like Texas, where it's one of the biggest states for Super Tuesday when it comes to delegates, but also it's a southern state?
Absolutely. So I think one of the things that'll change too is in South Carolina, it's a small enough state that you can travel around a lot. You can be on a bus and see lots of people. This campaign's about to go national. Texas is a huge state with tons of different media markets, and so all of a sudden your ability to project your message to a larger audience matters. And I think, Hillary Clinton has shown that she can do that in the past, and I think she's poised to do really well moving into Super Tuesday states, particularly Texas, where there's a lot of Hispanic voters and new registered voters who I think are really interested in her message.
And do you think, what do you think is going to be the outcome within the Republican, the GOP, and the Democratic Party?
Well, I think, for me, I'm happy to watch the Republican circus continue on. They seem to be more interested in calling each other names and talking about each other's appearances than talking about substance. On the Democratic side, we're moving forward. I think we'll have a nominee relatively soon in the process, and I think, our nominee is going to be committed to talking about real common sense solutions and making sure people have jobs, people have better education, and that's what voters at the end of the day are interested in. They don't care about whose hair looks weird or who has bigger ears. They're interested in what's going to put more money in their pocket.
Thank you so much, Brady. And get familiar with Brady because he's going to be back throughout the election season. I'm making sure of that.
That's right.
So,
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And coming up, we'll have Christine. She's going to give you everything you need to know about today's weather. And also we're talking Oscar talk, so I'm excited about that. Stay with us.